You're texting her constantly, adjusting your schedule to her availability, tolerating disrespect, accepting breadcrumbs of attention, hoping things will change. They won't. Not until you do something that terrifies most men. Walk away. Here's the truth that will transform your relationships forever. The moment you're willing to walk away is the moment you gain all the power. Not power over her, power over yourself. And that self-mastery is what creates the attraction, respect, and desire you've been chasing unsuccessfully. The ancient Stoics understood something modern men have forgotten. Your ability to walk away from anything determines your freedom. A man who cannot walk away is a slave. Slave to validation, slave to outcome, slave to fear. Today, you're learning why walking away is the most attractive thing you can do. And more importantly, how to develop the inner strength to actually do it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Walking away is the ultimate expression of this power. You cannot control whether she chooses you, but you can control whether you choose yourself. And paradoxically, choosing yourself is what makes you most attractive. Let's start with why walking away works on a psychological level. Scarcity creates value. This is basic economics applied to human psychology. When something is always available, easily obtained, and constantly pursuing us, we subconsciously devalue it. But when something valuable becomes unavailable, our brains obsess over it. She took you for granted when you were always there. You texted immediately. You cleared your schedule. You tolerated behavior you shouldn't have tolerated. Your constant availability signaled low value, not because you're actually low value, but because abundance destroys perceived scarcity. The moment you walk away, everything changes. Suddenly you're scarce. Suddenly she has to wonder, where did he go? Why isn't he pursuing me? Did I make a mistake? This isn't manipulation, this is human psychology. And denying it doesn't make you enlightened, it makes you unsuccessful. Here's what most men misunderstand about walking away. It's not a tactic, it's a mindset. If you walk away hoping she'll chase you, you haven't really walked away. You're just using distance as manipulation. She'll sense this, and it won't work. Real walking away means being genuinely willing to lose her if that's what self-respect requires. It means valuing your dignity more than the relationship outcome. Epictetus taught that freedom comes from wanting only what you can control. You can control your standards and self-respect. You cannot control her response. When you truly internalize this, walking away becomes easy. Because you're not walking away from her, you're walking toward yourself. Let's talk about the behaviors that make walking away necessary. She's disrespectful. She's inconsistent. She's keeping you as an option while exploring others. She's taking your time and attention without reciprocation. She says one thing, but does another. Most men stay in these situations, hoping things will change. They make excuses. They rationalize bad behavior. They convince themselves it will get better. It won't. Not until she experiences the consequence of losing you. The Stoics believed in accepting reality as it is. If her behavior is consistently disrespectful or low effort, that's who she is right now. Hoping she'll change is delusion, not optimism. You teach people how to treat you. Every time you tolerate disrespect, you're teaching her that disrespect is acceptable. Every time you accept breadcrumbs, you're teaching her that breadcrumbs are enough. Walking away is the only lesson that actually changes behavior. Here's the internal shift that must happen first. You must believe you deserve better. If you believe she's the best you can do, you'll never walk away. You'll cling to mediocrity out of fear that nothing better exists. But if you know your value, if you understand what you bring to a relationship, if you recognize that self-respect is non-negotiable, walking away becomes obvious. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the ancient world, remained humble but never confused humility with accepting poor treatment. He knew his value without arrogance. You must develop the same certainty, not arrogance, certainty about your worth. Let's address the fear that keeps men trapped. What if I walk away and she doesn't care? This question reveals everything wrong with your mindset. You're making her response more important than your self-respect. If you walk away and she doesn't care, you've learned something invaluable. She wasn't worth your investment. You've saved yourself months or years with the wrong person. That's not loss. That's clarity. That's freedom. The Stoics practiced negative visualization. They'd imagine losing everything they valued to prepare mentally and reduce fear. Apply this to relationships. Imagine walking away and her not caring. Sit with that fear. Process it. Realize that you'd survive. Realize that your worth isn't determined by her validation. When you genuinely accept the worst-case scenario, fear loses its grip. And without fear controlling you, you can make decisions based on self-respect rather than desperation. Here's what happens when you walk away with genuine indifference to outcome. First, she notices, women are extremely attuned to changes in male attention and behavior. Your absence creates immediate curiosity. Second, she starts to wonder, where did he go? Why isn't he pursuing me anymore? What changed? Did I take him for granted? Third, she begins to miss the positive aspects of your presence, the attention, the validation, the emotional support, the consistency. Things she took for granted become obvious in their absence. Fourth, she experiences doubt. Maybe he wasn't so bad. Maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I should reach out. But here's the critical point. None of this matters if you're sitting around hoping for it. Real walking away means focusing on your own growth, purpose, and life. You're not monitoring her social media. You're not waiting for her text. You're not hoping she comes back. You're genuinely moving forward, building yourself, pursuing your goals, becoming a better version of yourself. That authentic forward movement is what makes the walking away powerful. Seneca wrote about the importance of focusing energy on what you can control. You can control your self-improvement, your discipline, your purpose, your standards. Pour your energy there, not into whether she misses you. Let's talk about what walking away actually looks like in practice. It's not dramatic announcements. It's not angry speeches about how you deserve better. It's not social media posts designed to make her jealous. It's quiet dignity. You stop initiating contact. You stop being available at her convenience. You stop tolerating behavior that violates your standards. If she reaches out, you're polite but not eager, present but not desperate, friendly but not needy. You've created distance not out of spite but out of self-respect. You're protecting your energy for people who reciprocate your investment. This composure is incredibly attractive because it signals genuine strength. The man who walks away calmly is far more powerful than the man who leaves with angry dramatics. Here's where most men fail. They walk away, then immediately come back when she shows the slightest interest. She sends one text, and he's back at full attention. She shows minimal effort, and he's convinced things have changed. She offers breadcrumbs, and he treats them like a feast. This destroys any power the walking away created. It signals that your boundaries were temporary, your standards were negotiable, and your walk away was a bluff. Once she knows you'll always come back, she has no reason to change her behavior. You've taught her that your walk away is meaningless. The Stoic maintains his standards consistently. Not rigidly, but consistently. If the behavior that made you walk away hasn't genuinely changed, stay gone. Real change requires time, effort, and consistent different behavior. One apologetic text isn't change. 1 week of better behavior isn't change. Protect your peace. Maintain your standards. Don't confuse temporary improvement with permanent change. Here's the paradox that confuses most men. Walking away is most powerful when you're genuinely okay with never returning. If you're walking away as a strategy to make her chase you, she'll sense the manipulation. Your energy will be needy and expectant, even in absence. But if you walk away because you've genuinely decided that self-respect is more important than this particular outcome, your energy shifts completely. You become centered, at peace, focused on your own life, genuinely indifferent to whether she returns. That genuine indifference is magnetic. It signals that you have options, standards, and self-worth that aren't negotiable. Marcus Aurelius practiced outcome independence. He did his best in every situation while accepting that results were beyond his control. This created a calm strength that made him naturally influential. Apply this to walking away. Commit to self-respect while remaining genuinely unattached to her response. Let's address something important. Walking away doesn't guarantee she'll come back. And that's exactly the point. If she doesn't come back, or if she comes back without genuine change, walking away has still served its purpose. It's preserved your dignity and freed you to find someone who values you appropriately. Too many men stay in mediocre or disrespectful situations because they're afraid of being alone. They'd rather have someone who treats them poorly than face the discomfort of solitude. This is weakness disguised as loyalty. Real strength is choosing your own company over poor company. The Stoics understood that solitude is where you build character. Seneca wrote extensively about the value of time alone for self-reflection and growth. Being single and focused on self-improvement is infinitely better than being in a relationship that erodes your self-respect. Here's what walking away reveals about you to everyone watching, including her. It shows you have standards. You're not so desperate that you'll accept any treatment just to avoid being alone. It shows you have options. Men without options cling, men with options choose. It shows you have self-respect. You value your dignity more than temporary comfort or validation. It shows you understand your worth. You know what you bring, and you won't accept less than reciprocal investment. All of these qualities are fundamentally attractive, not just to her but to everyone you encounter. Walking away from what doesn't serve you makes room for what does. Let me be clear about something. This isn't about playing games or trying to make her jealous. That's manipulation, and it always backfires eventually. This is about genuinely valuing yourself enough to remove yourself from situations that don't meet your standards. It's about having the courage to bet on yourself rather than settling for someone who doesn't fully choose you. It's about understanding that you train people how to treat you, and accepting poor treatment trains them to treat you poorly. The Stoics called this living according to virtue, specifically the virtue of self-respect and dignity. These aren't negotiable regardless of how much you like someone. Here's your action plan. First, get clear on your standards. What behavior is acceptable? What isn't? Where are your non-negotiable boundaries? Second, communicate those standards once, clearly and calmly, not as threats or ultimatums, but as information about who you are and what you require. Third, enforce those standards through action, not words. If the behavior continues, walk away. No lectures, no drama, just dignified distance. Fourth, focus completely on your own growth, goals, and life. Channel all the energy you were spending on a situation that didn't serve you into becoming better. Fifth, remain genuinely open to her return if she demonstrates real change, but don't wait for it or expect it. The goal isn't to get her back. The goal is to respect yourself enough to walk away from what doesn't serve you. If she comes back with genuine change, great. If she doesn't, also great, because you've already won by choosing dignity over desperation. Remember, the most attractive thing about walking away isn't the distance. It's the inner transformation that makes walking away possible. When you develop such strong self-respect, clear standards, and genuine purpose that you can walk away from anyone who doesn't meet them, you become fundamentally more attractive, not just to her, to everyone. If you're ready to develop the strength to walk away from anything that doesn't serve your highest good, comment below, I choose self-respect. Your power begins the moment you're willing to walk away. Use it wisely.